What's up everyone, welcome back to ARTV. My name is John and I know you've been starved for Radiohead content. I've been promising more reviews for a while now, and rest assured that is happening throughout 2019. I'm kicking that off with a review of their 6th studio album that released in 2003. It's titled Hail to the Thief. Thank you for being patient with me as I've taken my time diving deeper into Radiohead's discography. It's been a rewarding and rich process for me, but also one that is taking time. I don't want to rush things, and I also don't want to just go with the critical consensus on something, because obviously Radiohead are a critically acclaimed band, but I want to form my own opinions and the way that I feel about things. So I've avoided reading or watching any Radiohead reviews, and this is the process. If you missed my OK Computer review, then that was the first in the series. Tap the card here, or else the link at the end of the video, and let's get started with this one. If there's other Radiohead records that you want to see me review, which I am going to be rolling out, then vote in the poll in the description, or else the pinned comment. Hail to the Thief came just 2 years after the release of Amnesiac, which some people consider to be a batch of leftover tracks that didn't make the cut for Kid A. That was an intense time period for both the band and their fans as they journeyed through these experimental airwaves and pushed their sonic boundaries. What I feel a lot of people overlook, including the band themselves, is the genius of this 2003 record Hail to the Thief. Tom York and Johnny Greenwood in particular have spoken out several times about their regrets in the recording process, claiming that they took way too much improvisation on the spot and it hurt the record's outcome, and that the album should have been trimmed to 10 tracks. My reflection on that is, really? This feels like one of their greatest accomplishments because there are some imperfections, for lack of a better term. It's both tightly wound and loosely flowing, which isn't an easy act to achieve, and the return of more guitar-oriented music meshed together with synthesizers, piano, deep bass, and more created a very vast musical landscape that I can backdrift into at really almost any time. Spanning 14 songs and nearly an hour's worth of music, Radiohead subject the listener to musical bliss through eerie vocals, tense subject matter that even goes as far as responding to their critics, and as always, a vast atmosphere that penetrates the psyche if you truly allow yourself to fall in line with the music. Radiohead often, if not always, provide an intimate but nuanced sound that's best to listen to through either headphones or else through a high-quality setup, because if you're not paying close attention, there's so much that you're gonna miss out on. Hail to the Thief was a big step for me in terms of understanding and appreciating Radiohead. It's somewhat of a middle ground beyond their most accessible stuff and also their most experimental, and I fell in love with it pretty quickly. Realistically, everything that I've mentioned up to this point is pretty much a win for this album in terms of what is going for it, but with there being so many reviews of Radiohead already out there, this isn't necessarily always to just comment on the merits of the music and what is always going right. It's more so to chronicle my personal journey through the discography of Radiohead, through getting into them more and discovering their music. That being said, I applaud the perception and the at times jarring disposition that the album offers. It's a musical journey that features a lot of songs with tempo changes, crescendos, haunting vocals, lyrical depth, and ambivalence, in addition to some absolutely soul-touching guitar and piano performances. Sometimes I get hung up on trying to understand and roll back every single word or phrase that Tom is uttering, and I forget that Tom at times throws out intentional red herrings, saying that, oh, I actually only sung this because it sounded cool, or it fit as a puzzle piece in the overall puzzle that was this album. The biggest plus for this record is that it feels like a journey that you never get tired of. It's one that you never want to stop going on. It opens rather abruptly and wastes no time breaking out the more intense drum patterns and guitars on 2 + 2 = 5, and quickly migrates into the more towering Sail to the Moon, which gives way to the chilling electronic masterpiece Backdrifts, which alarmingly feels more lyrically true now more so than ever in regards to society. Radiohead continue to transcend time, making records that feel timeless because of the, yes, ambivalence at times of the lyrics, but also the potency, the foresight, and the knowledge that they seem to possess that a lot of other bands simply don't have. 2 plus 2 equals 5 opens things up with a flash pan effect, bombarding with some nice, more up-tempo than expected instrumentals that quickly settle into a nice little groove as York intentionally brings out the contradictions. For those of us who aren't mathematically gifted, 2 plus 2 does not in fact equal 5. Over the past year, I spent a good amount of time with this release, and I'm really shocked to see how my top favorites have evolved. Sail to the Moon stands out now more than ever before, providing, yes, a small amount of actual lyrics, but the ones that are there describe a visual scenario that truly expands your imagination. There's a dry sarcasm living within the track, even referring to Noah's Ark and joking of how humanity could use it to sail to the moon to escape. We Suck Young Blood continues to pique my interest in a major way. I'd be a fool if I didn't mention how politically inclined much of this record is. There's a lot of commentary, there's plenty of allegories, a lot of fairy tale-like features that are described on this album, and it's brought out in a major way on this track We Suck Young Blood. This cut won me over with its unsettling backing vocals, which pair up almost a little too perfectly with York's commentary on how the government fucks over young people in particular, almost like it's intentional, like they're going after them, putting all these fees, healthcare, everything like that. Again, it holds up and kind of transcends time because these are still issues that we're dealing with today. Lead single There There has aged like a fine wine, palatable now more so than ever before, with its slow rise into an eventual guitar meltdown that kind of feels like programmed chaos actually caught on tape. If you think things are sounding great so far, buckle up, because we haven't even talked about some of the best songs on the record. A Punch Up at a Wedding strikes me in a very bold and confrontational way, which was probably the band's intention. Tom York admitted his frustrations with a review of Radiohead's concert in Oxford, revealing that this song was a response to that and an admission that it got to him more than it should have, forever ruining what he felt was a great gig. That looming bass is so fucking crystal clear in the mix, and paired up with that piano and that angrier delivery from Tom York, it's overwhelmingly amazing, and it's one of those songs that I have genuinely sat down and just replayed 5 times over because there's always something new that I'm hearing. There's in fact a metric ton of little details and nuances that make this record exactly what it is, and they make it worth hearing again and again as you're always discovering something new that you didn't take notice of before. One of those tracks for me was the Gloaming, which wasn't initially a favorite, but now it's like this electronic force that hits me like a ton of bricks. Go to Sleep, however, has been easy to praise from the start. It features folk influences and a driving narrative, all backed by a progressive acoustic guitar that I really don't know how else to describe it other than oddly comforting. It actually reminds me a ton of the album Rated R that released in 2000 by the band Queens of the Stone Age, and in particular, I think that riff that breaks out sounds a lot like the track Autopilot. I also have to call out Where I End and You Begin for just being spectacular, which, well, shit, I'm running out of adjectives to describe this album, but that bass line though, so invigorating. There's plenty of other details that I could discuss, but I want to leave by reflecting on the album's closer, A Wolf at the Door. It's again a slow burner, but not as slow as some of the others. You can tell there's a fierce passion in this one's bones, tackling the subject of government control once again. Feeling sick and tired of the brainwashing York saw in a post 9/11 world, it seems as though he wanted to continue doing his part to add a different voice to what the masses were declaring as truth. Again, it's a bit unsettling to see how everything has come to fruition. The things that York and the band warned of, and the right-wing ideology, and people like Trump, and even Theresa May over in the band's home country of the UK, Brexit, everything like that. They described a lot of things that actually came into the light. And A Wolf at the Door, once again, uses those fairy tale-like metaphors to actually describe what's going on, and it's a powerhouse. The chorus is so catchy, it sticks in your mind, but when you actually think about the lyrics, things start to dissipate a bit and you start to think, what is going on in society? Hail to the Thief is something that I consider to be another Radiohead masterpiece, whether or not the band stumbled onto it or not by piecing things together or by playing things on the spot in the studio. There's a disenchanted feeling that guides the album forward, looming with darkness and enough atmosphere to fill up the entire planet. It, to me, reaffirms what the band are to so many people and how they didn't conform despite being told what to do and what they should sound like so early on in their career. Hail to the Thief gets a perfect score, as did OK Computer. They're two very different records, and they're the first two that I've actually commented on publicly with a review, but to me, they're simply flawless in different ways. Thank you so much for watching and liking my review of Radiohead's 2003 release Hail to the Thief today. If you would like to vote on which Radiohead album I cover next, then please check out the link either in the description or else in the pinned comment. Let me know your thoughts on Hail to the Thief as well. If you've never heard the record in full, then please, by all means, do so. There is a link to stream it down below. A great way to help support the channel and to ensure that these Radiohead and other throwback reviews continue coming down the pipeline is to support the channel on Patreon. It's the top link down below or else the annotation in the corner. If you'd like to see my review of OK Computer, then tap right here or tap over here to see my review of A Moon-Shaped Pool. Other than that, you can connect with me on social media at the link in the description down below, and I will see you soon for more on ARTV.